Imagine being in a relationship that slowly drains your soul. Every conversation feels like you're navigating a minefield, and no matter what you say, you're always in the wrong. Meet Emily. She thought she found love, but instead, she's lost herself, constantly walking on eggshells, exhausted by trying to please someone who is never satisfied. Are you like Emily? Do you feel like someone is dismissing your feelings, making you question your worth, and draining your energy? You're not alone. Millions of people are trapped in toxic relationships that wear down their spirit. Welcome to Inspire Mind. Today, we're diving deep into 10 signs that someone may be draining your energy and manipulating your emotions. It's time to wake up, recognize the warning signs, and reclaim your peace of mind. Let's start this journey together, because you deserve to be valued, not diminished. Let's start with the first sign: constant criticism. It's more than just the occasional disagreement or feedback. It's the relentless need to find fault in everything you do. For Emily, it began with small things: her choice of clothes, how she spoke, even the way she laughed. At first, she thought her partner was just being honest, trying to help her improve. But soon, the criticism became relentless. It chipped away at her self-esteem. No matter how hard she tried, it was never enough. She felt like she was shrinking, doubting herself with every decision. And worst of all, she began to believe the criticism. She thought, maybe it was her fault. Have you ever felt like that? Like no matter what you do, it's wrong? Constant criticism isn't about helping you grow. It's about control. It's a way of keeping you off balance, of making you feel small, so they can feel superior. If you're nodding along, remember this: you are not the problem. This is emotional manipulation in its most subtle form, and it can be devastating to your sense of self-worth. In healthy relationships, partners uplift and encourage one another, offering support instead of tearing each other down. If someone is constantly criticizing you, it's a sign they're draining your energy and self-confidence. Emotional manipulation, one of the most draining tactics people use. Have you ever found yourself constantly apologizing even when you know you did nothing wrong? That was Emily's life. Every argument, every disagreement somehow became her fault. It didn't matter if she was the one hurt. She always ended up being the one to say sorry. At first, she didn't even notice what was happening. Her partner would twist situations in subtle ways, turning everything around so she felt like the guilty one. If she brought up how she felt neglected, the conversation would shift to how hard it was for him, how she didn't appreciate him enough. Suddenly, she found herself comforting the very person who had hurt her. Does this sound familiar to you? Do you find yourself comforting someone when you're the one in pain? This is emotional manipulation at its core, a tactic designed to make you question your feelings, your reactions, and your reality. People who manipulate your emotions are experts at making you feel guilty for even having feelings. They'll accuse you of being too sensitive, of overreacting, or worse, they'll convince you that you're the problem. And here's the thing: it leaves you constantly drained. You spend so much energy trying to make things right, trying to fix a situation that you didn't even create. You end up walking on a tightrope, constantly questioning whether you're too much or not enough. But remember, your feelings are valid. If you're constantly feeling guilty or responsible for someone else's emotions, that's a major red flag. A healthy relationship won't leave you feeling like this. You deserve to be heard, to have your emotions acknowledged, and to be treated with respect. If you're not getting that, it's time to take a step back and recognize the manipulation for what it is. Emotional manipulation isn't love. It's control. And the longer you stay in it, the more it drains your energy, leaving you empty and exhausted. Lack of empathy. Have you ever opened up about something deeply personal, only to be met with silence, indifference, or worse, someone who turns the conversation back to themselves? That was Emily's reality. She tried to share her fears, her dreams, even her struggles, and each time, her partner barely listened. When she was at her most vulnerable, the one person she expected to be there simply wasn't. Imagine pouring your heart out, hoping for comfort, and instead, you're left feeling even more alone. That's how draining it is when someone doesn't care about your emotions. Emily would go to bed wondering, am I asking for too much? Should I just stop sharing how I feel? Have you been there? Have you ever felt like your emotions didn't matter to someone you care about? It's heartbreaking because empathy is the foundation of any meaningful connection. Without it, you're left feeling isolated even when you're with someone. What's worse, a lack of empathy often leaves you questioning your own needs. You start to think, maybe I'm being selfish, maybe I'm too emotional. But here's the truth. You're not asking for too much. It's not selfish to want someone to care about how you feel. It's not selfish to want a partner who listens, understands, and supports you. People who lack empathy don't just drain your energy, they drain your sense of self-worth. You begin to feel like your emotions are a burden, something you need to hide or suppress. But you deserve better. You deserve someone who values your feelings, who can be there when you're at your lowest, not just when things are easy. If someone in your life never seems to care about how you feel, it's a sign they may be draining your emotional energy. A relationship without empathy is not a partnership. It's a one-sided connection that leaves you feeling empty. Don't settle for less than you deserve. You are worthy of love, attention, and understanding. Isolation. Let's talk about one of the most subtle but damaging tactics, isolation. This is when someone slowly starts to pull you away from the people and things that give you joy, security, and support. For Emily, it happened so gradually that she didn't even notice. Her partner would make small comments like, "Why do you need to see your friends so often?" Or, "I don't trust your family. They don't really care about you." At first, it seemed like concern. But over time, it became clear her world was shrinking. The dinners with friends turned into canceled plans. Phone calls with family were met with sighs of annoyance. Emily found herself spending all her time with her partner, and even though she was with someone, she felt lonelier than ever. Does this resonate with you? Have you ever noticed that someone in your life is pulling you away from the people who love you? This is a classic sign of emotional control. The less support you have from the outside world, the more dependent you become on the person who's draining you. It's terrifying because isolation makes you doubt yourself. You lose touch with the people who would remind you of your worth, who would tell you that you deserve better. And once you're cut off from those voices, you start to believe the only voice left, the one telling you you're not enough, that no one else understands you like they do. But here's the truth. The people who truly care about you want you to have a full, rich life, filled with love and connection beyond just them. They want to see you thrive, surrounded by support. If someone in your life is trying to isolate you from your friends, family, or even your passions, it's not love, it's control. Remember, isolation is a tool used by emotional manipulators to make you feel small and dependent, but you don't have to let them succeed. Reach out to the people who have always been there for you. Reconnect with the things that make you feel alive. You deserve a life filled with love, laughter, and connection, not one where your world grows smaller by the day. If this is happening to you, recognize the isolation for what it is, a way to drain your energy and keep you trapped. It's time to break free, to widen your circle again, and to remember that you're never truly alone. Not when there are people out there who love and value you for who you are. Walking on eggshells. Now let's talk about that constant feeling of walking on eggshells. Have you ever felt like you had to be hyper-aware of every word you say, every little action, because you're terrified of setting someone off? For Emily, this became her daily reality. She would rehearse conversations in her head, trying to predict what might trigger her partner's anger or disappointment. She never knew what would cause an argument. A harmless comment about her day could somehow spiral into accusations, cold silences, or explosive fights. Emily found herself censoring her thoughts, avoiding topics that could lead to conflict, and pretending to be okay when she wasn't. All just to keep the peace. Does this sound familiar to you? If you're constantly anxious about how someone will react to the smallest things, that's not a normal or healthy dynamic. In a loving relationship, you should feel safe expressing your thoughts, your feelings, your needs, without fear of being punished for it. Walking on eggshells is emotionally exhausting. It drains you of your energy because you're always on high alert, trying to manage the other person's emotions while suppressing your own. And over time, it makes you forget what it's like to feel relaxed and truly yourself. You may have started to believe that this is just how relationships are. That love is about compromise, about making things work no matter how hard it gets. But here's the truth. Love doesn't make you live in fear. Love isn't supposed to make you feel like you're constantly in the wrong. If you're walking on eggshells around someone, ask yourself why. Is it because you've been conditioned to believe that your emotions don't matter as much as theirs? Is it because you've been made to feel responsible for their reactions? This is emotional control at its core. You deserve to be in relationships where you can breathe easily, where you can speak your truth without fear of backlash. It's time to recognize this pattern for what it is, a way to drain your energy and silence your voice. And it's time to ask yourself, why should I be afraid to be myself around the person who claims to care about me? Remember, real love doesn't feel like a battlefield. It feels like home. If you're constantly walking on eggshells, it's time to step back and reclaim your sense of peace, because you deserve to feel safe, respected, and free. Gaslighting. Let's dive into one of the most insidious tactics. Gaslighting. Have you ever been in a situation where someone made you question your own reality? Where they twisted your words or denied something that clearly happened, leaving you feeling confused, even doubting your own memory? This was Emily's experience almost daily. Her partner would tell her that she was too emotional or overreacting whenever she tried to express her feelings. If she brought up something hurtful, he had said, he would flat out deny it. That never happened, he'd say, or you're remembering it wrong. Over time, Emily began to doubt her own thoughts. She started to wonder, am I really too sensitive? Did I imagine that? Have you ever had someone make you feel like you're losing grip on your own reality? Gaslighting is powerful because it makes you question the very thing you should be able to trust most, your own mind. It's not just emotional abuse, it's psychological warfare. If you've been told that your feelings aren't valid, or that you're overthinking things when deep down you know something is wrong, that's gaslighting. The goal of this manipulation is to make you feel confused, so you become dependent on their version of reality. It drains you because you're constantly second-guessing yourself, losing confidence in your own perceptions. Gaslighters know exactly what they're doing. They twist the truth, rewrite history, and make you feel like you're walking in a fog. And here's the worst part. The longer it goes on, the harder it becomes to break free. You start to think, maybe it really is me. Maybe I'm the one causing the problem. But here's the truth you need to hear. You are not crazy. Your feelings, your memories, your experiences are real and they matter. If someone makes you doubt that, it's a sign they're draining you in the most harmful way possible. This emotional confusion takes a huge toll on your energy, your mental health, and your sense of self. The first step to breaking free from gaslighting is recognizing it for what it is. A deliberate attempt to control your reality. Once you see the pattern, you can begin to trust your instincts again. Remember, you deserve to live in clarity, to feel grounded in your truth. Anyone who makes you feel otherwise is only holding you back from the peace and stability you deserve. It's time to reclaim your reality, your voice, and your strength. You know your truth, and that is enough. They make everything about themselves. Another sign someone is draining your energy is when they make everything about themselves. Have you ever tried to talk about your feelings or experiences, only to have the conversation immediately redirected to their problems, their struggles, their needs? For Emily, this happened every single time. Anytime she tried to open up, her partner would find a way to make it about him. She'd come home from a rough day at work, exhausted and needing comfort. But instead of support, the conversation would shift. You think your day was hard? Let me tell you about mine, he'd say. And just like that, her emotions were dismissed and the focus shifted back to him. Does this sound familiar? Have you ever felt like your needs, your feelings, always take a back seat to someone else's? This is a subtle yet powerful way people drain you, by making you feel like your experiences don't matter. You're constantly giving them your energy, your time, and your attention. But what do you get in return? When someone is always the center of attention, it leaves you feeling unheard and unseen. It's as if your emotions are an inconvenience, something to be brushed aside. You end up playing the role of emotional caretaker, always there to support them, while your own needs go unmet. The truth is, Healthy relationships are built on mutual care and understanding. It's about give and take, not one person dominating the emotional landscape while the other quietly fades into the background. When someone consistently makes everything about themselves, it's a sign that they're taking from you without giving anything back. And that's exhausting. You deserve to be in relationships where your feelings are just as important, where your voice is heard, and where your needs are met with care and attention. Don't let someone make you feel like your problems are insignificant just because they have their own. Think about the energy you're investing in this person. Are they reciprocating? Are they showing up for you the way you show up for them? If the answer is no, it's time to set boundaries. It's time to protect your energy and prioritize your own well-being. Remember, you are worthy of being the main character in your own story. You deserve relationships where there's space for both of you to share, grow, and support one another. If someone's always making it about them, they're not only draining your energy, they're taking away your opportunity to shine. It's time to reclaim that space and remind yourself that your feelings matter just as much. They disregard your boundaries. Have you ever set a boundary only for it to be ignored or dismissed? For Emily, establishing boundaries was a constant battle. Whenever she would express her need for personal space or time to herself, her partner would twist it into a personal attack. "You must not love me if you need time alone," he'd say, making her feel guilty for wanting her own space. Imagine feeling like you have to sacrifice your needs just to keep someone else happy. That was Emily's reality. Each time she tried to assert herself, it felt like she was walking into a wall. Rather than respect her boundaries, her partner would push back harder, making her doubt whether she had the right to even ask for what she needed. Have you experienced this? Setting boundaries is a vital part of any healthy relationship, but if someone disregards those boundaries, it can be incredibly draining. It creates a cycle of guilt, forcing you to question whether you're being too demanding or unreasonable. When your boundaries are continually crossed, it can lead to feelings of resentment, frustration, and even hopelessness. You might find yourself feeling exhausted just thinking about standing up for yourself. It becomes easier to give in than to deal with the emotional fallout. But here's the hard truth. Disregarding boundaries is not love. It's manipulation. Healthy relationships thrive on respect and understanding. Boundaries are there to protect your mental and emotional well-being. They allow you to express your needs without fear of retaliation. If someone consistently disregards your boundaries, it's a clear sign they are draining your energy and taking advantage of your kindness. It's essential to recognize that you have every right to set boundaries that keep you safe and secure. If you're feeling overwhelmed or unsupported, don't hesitate to reestablish those boundaries firmly. You deserve to be in an environment where your limits are respected, not trampled on. Take a moment to reflect. Are there boundaries you've set that have been ignored? How did that make you feel? Your feelings are valid, and it's time to reclaim your right to say no without guilt. Remember, you are not responsible for someone else's happiness at the expense of your own well-being. If someone cannot respect your boundaries, it's time to reassess their role in your life. You deserve relationships that empower you, not ones that leave you feeling depleted. Stand firm in your truth and remind yourself that your needs matter just as much as anyone else's. Withholding affection or support. Finally, let's address a heartbreaking sign: withholding affection or support. Have you ever felt starved for love and validation from someone who claimed to care for you? For Emily, this was a painful reality. Whenever she sought comfort or reassurance, her partner would pull away, leaving her feeling empty and rejected. It was as if love was a reward that was doled out based on her performance rather than a fundamental part of their relationship. Imagine reaching out for a hug, only to be met with a cold shoulder, or sharing your accomplishments, only to receive a dismissive comment instead of praise. Emily often felt like she had to earn affection, as if her worth was contingent on her partner's mood. This created a toxic cycle, where she constantly sought validation, feeling like she could never truly be herself unless she was doing things right. Does this resonate with you? If you find yourself in a relationship where affection is withheld as a form of control or punishment, it's a clear indicator that your emotional energy is being drained. This kind of manipulation can leave you feeling unworthy, constantly questioning if you're enough. Withholding affection isn't just about physical touch. It can also manifest as emotional unavailability. When you're struggling, you might find that the person who should support you is nowhere to be found, leaving you to navigate your challenges alone. This creates a profound sense of loneliness, even in a relationship where you're supposed to feel connected. Love should be a safe haven, a source of support and warmth. If you're experiencing the opposite, it's a sign that the relationship may be more about control than genuine care. You deserve to be with someone who uplifts you, who celebrates your victories, and stands by you in your struggles. If you're feeling starved for affection, take a moment to ask yourself, what do I truly need from this relationship? Am I getting the support I deserve? It's vital to recognize that you are worthy of love, respect, and understanding without having to earn it. Remember, withholding affection is a form of emotional manipulation, and it can leave deep scars on your sense of self-worth. You deserve to be in a relationship where love is freely given, not used as a bargaining chip. It's time to stand up for yourself, to seek out relationships that nourish your spirit and support your journey. As we wrap up, take a deep breath and recognize the strength within you. You have the power to reclaim your energy and seek out connections that honor your soul. Don't settle for anything less than what you truly deserve. Your heart is worthy of love, compassion, and respect, always. If you found this video helpful, please take a moment to like and subscribe to our channel for more content like this. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Have you experienced any of these signs in your own life? Your story could help someone else who's feeling stuck.